The hype train of the UFC's biggest prospect that they have been pushing has been derailed. Bo Nickal, who was a phenom in wrestling, just got finished in the second round by Reinier De Ridder, who honestly should not have been as big of an underdog as he was. I thought he shouldn't have been an underdog in the first place. I mean, he was a doubleweight world champion at one championship. He has legitimate skills, and he's in the rankings of the middleweight division. To have him as a almost 3-1 underdog was disrespectful to his skills. The betting odds had it as if Bo Nickal was going to run right through him and make it look easy, when he couldn't even do that to Paul Craig, who was very similar to Reinier, except Reinier can actually strike. That was the main difference between them two. And as Reinier said in the post-fight interview, he had to remind himself that he was a Dutch fighter, so he had to bring in those knees to the body, just like those Dutch kickboxers, man. And they worked beautifully for him. Every single shot to the body was deflating Bo Nickal. He was gassing out, slowing down, and throughout the fight, not just in the second round, there were a lot of body shots from Reinier De Ridder. Knees to the body, punches to the body, attacking in the clinch, and Bo Nickal wasn't really defending most of the shots. He was looking for the big overhand, expecting Reinier to stand up tall and stay in front of the punches, but he was able to evade a few of those big left overhands, most of the time by level changing or just ducking his head slightly enough to get under the punch, and another time he got under 2 punches, the jab and the left overhand, as he went for the takedown. But the takedowns weren't going to be the most successful against a wrestler at the level of Bo Nickal. But Reinier can keep shooting takedowns, as Bo Nickal isn't going to have the advantage if the fight goes to the ground. Whether he reverses, or honestly even if he stands up with Reinier, it's going to be a tough fight. Going into it, Reinier was on paper supposed to be the better striker and the better grappler of the two, and that's how the fight turned out to be. Because thinking about the skills of Bo Nickal, he is a wrestler. He hasn't been fighting in MMA that long. Does he have the skills once the fight gets to the ground, when his opponent is on his back? In wrestling, that would be a pin. That would be the end of the match. But in MMA, that's where the grappling essentially starts, not ends. And Reinier De Ridder is very good on the ground. So it was going to be difficult for Bo Nickal to get a lot of success even if the fight goes to the ground. So he did land one ground and pound shot, a good left hand, and look how Reinier De Ridder threatens a triangle choke. Bo Nickal gets his left hand on the inside to defend it and also raises up his head. But Reinier faked the triangle to land a left hand to the face. He didn't even commit for the triangle choke. He just threw up a setup for it, made Bo Nickal think it was going to be a triangle choke, and then lands a left hand as Bo Nickal raises up his head. Give him the chin for the punch to land. But then he commits for the armbar. Swinging across, goes for the arm. Bo Nickal pulls his arm out of there. So Bo Nickal was very defensively minded on the ground with Reinier De Ridder. But Reinier was able to flip, get under Bo Nickal, and that's when Bo goes for the guillotine. Now Reinier De Ridder flips over Bo Nickal, and it's hard to see if it's Bo using a butterfly hook to flip him or it was Reinier evading the body control, either a figure 4 or the guard from that guillotine. But regardless, Reinier De Ridder was able to get out of the position and end up on top, from side control to half guard to side control, before Bo Nickal rotates and stands up. And then Reinier, holding onto the body lock, tripped him and brought the fight back to the ground. The first fighter ever to take down Bo Nickal, if the official stats are counting that. Bo wasn't on the ground too long, so maybe they're not going to count that as a takedown, but Reinier was at least able to drag him to the ground momentarily. In this entire grappling exchange, started with a takedown of Bo Nickal, where he was pushed up against the fence. Reinier's working for his own takedown, but then Bo, using his left underhook and kicking up with his left leg, pretty much hooking it under the right leg of Reinier. He's able to reverse the position. There's a potential takedown just from that, but he reverses the position entirely. Now he's pushing Reinier up against the fence, and he's pulling out the left leg while using that left underhook to push Reinier into the ground. So very high level takedown from Bo Nickal. It's just there wasn't a whole lot he was able to do with it afterward. But for the majority of the fight, it was a clinch strikes from Reinier De Ridder, throwing combinations. body, head. At one point, grabbing onto the hand of Bo Nickal. He could have been grabbing onto the glove, but it looks like he's grabbing onto the actual hand, which is allowed. Pulls him inward and drives a left knee to the body. So much leverage into these shots, and he's also positioning himself perpendicular to Bo Nickal so he can have a good angle to drive the knees into the body, constantly holding that position throughout the fight. And against the fence, where it looked like Reinier was working his way to a finish, he's landing a lot of punches to the head, punches to the body. Bo Nickal actually returns back with a right hand, connects it flush, but then Reinier eats it like it's nothing, lands a right hand of his own, and eventually the finish happens a few moments after. And in the finish, Bo actually lands a left overhand, so this is after all the body damage. Of course, it's going to take out the win from Bo, which is going to make his punches even weaker, but still Reinier eats the punch, lands the knee to the body, finishing the fight. But it was a huge hype derail. Bo Nickal was the guy that the UFC really wanted to push far, and as a lot of the people that understood this matchup, it was too big of an obstacle, too big of a speed bump for their biggest prospect. For everybody that understood how good Reinier De Ridder is, we all knew this was going to be a very difficult fight for Bo Nickal stylistically. And now he is 3-0 in the UFC. A success story coming from one championship where he was on a loss streak, in championship fights though, and it's to the same guy, Anatoly Malikin. He fought at UAE Warriors where he got a first round finish. Now he's in the UFC, 3 wins in a row, all finishes. Jeremy Richard, Kevin Holland, now Bo Nickal. Those are good first 3 fights for any fighter coming into the UFC. So I want to see how far Reinier De Ridder can actually go, because can you imagine if he fights Dricus du Plessis? How insane that fight would be. It's like the 2 long-lost brothers unite in the cage to throw down in a fight. But excellent win for Reinier De Ridder, man. We'll love to see him fight like Marvin Vettori or Roman Dolidze or anybody ahead of him in the rankings. And as for Bo Nickal, they need to step down the level of competition. This was too big of a step up for him. His striking isn't there yet. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu isn't there yet. I mean, in the future, he might be something big. This loss to Reinier De Ridder might make Bo Nickal a much better fighter. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Make sure to give the video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video.